Raheem Green, Tanaris Gooding, David Thomas, Jennifer Murray, and Corey Williams. Sit back, relax, and let
Yo, what's good?
What's going on, brother?
Hey, man, everything is everything. All love is all love. And it's great to be back in the house one more time. So, everybody, hope you're enjoying your summertime. I know it's been real hot out there for everybody, even up here in Ohio. Man, I can't even imagine how hot it's been down there in the South.
Man, it's muggy, man. It's like different level.
So I hope everybody is staying cool. Hope everybody's having a good time. Have a chance to spend some good moments with your family, some of your friends, maybe even get a little bit of downtime when you can spare some. All right. So tonight we got a very special episode, as we typically do. I'd like to just thank everybody for tuning in one more time. Those of you that are tuning in for the first time, welcome. We like everybody to subscribe to our YouTube channel, also on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Also, you can follow us at all of our social media handles, which are located across the top of our screen, Instagram, X, and Facebook. And also, we got some threads going on. Across the bottom of the screen, we've got the ticker, which is giving you a little bit of update on season tickets for football. Season tickets are $200, which includes parking. Also, something else that is not pictured, but I do want to make mention of is if you are looking to renew your tailgate packages, make sure you do that as soon as you can. All right. There are power that's going in, power stations that have been installed all over the place. You don't want to miss being part of this next upcoming season.
Yeah, I was just about to say, Wayne, I was on North Parkway earlier today, and you do see the construction going on with whatever they're doing out there. They're out there working to make sure the tailgate experience is better than what it was, better than it has been. So work is being done.
That's what's up. And we also want to say hello tonight for the first time to Jay the Great. Hello, Jen. Welcome on in with us.
Jay the Great.
Hope everything is well with you. Yeah, got her hair braided.
Ooh, she ready
it's
for
vacation hair.
So, all right. Now that we got the family together for you, everybody knows the ground rules of the show. Also, make sure you hit that like button early and often. Like button. And also, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you can also comment. And then also here on the screen, for our guests tonight, if you got any questions, when time permits, we'll make sure that we get those up for you. All right. So let's do our housekeeping. First off, we got SWAC Media Day, which is coming up July the 16th down there in Birmingham, Alabama. And you can see that Coach Maynard will be flanked by Donovan Eaglin and also Imari Pate. So Media Day is always a great thing. It's always a great time. You know, the media will be asking a lot of questions of the players, the coaches, and also, most importantly, they'll put out their preseason SWAC, all SWAC teams, and then they'll make their picks for predicted order of finish. Then, you know, with that predicted order of finish, you know, people tend to get a little over the edge and start getting a little picky about some things that the media says. You don't have my team too high. You have this team too low.
Right.
You know, so we'll see how it goes. But SWAC Media Day, look in the coming weeks for links and all that stuff about how you can check it out. All right. Jen, you gonna be in the house for that?
I've already submitted my vacation time.
There it is. There it is. All right. Also, you know, I went over this last week, but it's good to show it again for those who have not seen. This is the national television schedule for our games this year. You can see it starts off at Auburn and then it proceeds all the way through. We got Magic City Classic, Gulf Coast Challenge, and then you can also see a Thursday nighter against Grambling, which will be on ESPNU.
Yep.
All right. All these things will be updated as you go, but for those that are so excited, like many of us, go ahead and plan in advance. All right. And then, as I aforementioned, these are the home games that we have this year. You can see it starts off with the Lewis Cruz Classic on September 7th against the Kentucky State Thoroughbreds. And then that icon there on September 14th, that's Georgetown College, their NAIA team. They took the place of Fayetteville State. Homecoming, Senior Day, Grambling. So a nice 5-game slate coming to the Hill. Make sure you get your season tickets now. Then just kind of switching gears here with a little bit of baseball. Big shout out to Tristan Curlis and Bryson Hammonds.
Yep.
These two gentlemen, they're going to participate in the HBCU Classic presented by T-Mobile. So they're going to represent not just themselves, but they're also going to represent Alabama A&M baseball. Shout out to these gentlemen.
Congrats.
And then last but not least, what I have for you is, our A&M women's soccer team. Their schedule was released today. Their first game at home will be on August the 7th. And then, they're going to have a nice stream of SWAC opponents that will be coming to the Hill. So support our soccer team. We had them on last year. We look to have them on again as we get into their upcoming season. All right. So with all of that being said, that is our housekeeping for tonight. As they like to say in church, please govern yourselves accordingly. And we also will say hello for the first time tonight to our man, Dave, just Dave Thomas. Welcome back to the show, brother.
Dollar Dave. That's his name.
You know what? I like that. Let me change your name in my phone to Dollar.
Hey, you know what he does? He know what he does on Tuesday. Got to get them dollars together.
And do.
Hey, I'm supposed to be bugging me on Wednesday.
Right.
Yeah, so if you're just joining, make sure you hit that like button, share, let folks know that we're on live because we're getting right into our first guest of the evening.
Yes, sir.
He is a 2010 graduate of Alabama A&M. His senior year at A&M, he led what was called then Division I AA. Now we know it as FCS. He led the country with a record 20 sacks. He was drafted in the 5th round by the Indianapolis Colts, where he played for them for 15 years. Super Bowl 41 champion, 5-time Pro Bowler. Also, he's in their Ring of Honor. Has his number 55 retired by Alabama A&M University. One of the greatest defensive ends to play the game, bar none. A speed rusher supreme. He currently serves as a defensive pass rush consultant with the Indianapolis Colts. And it's such an esteemed honor to welcome him on our show tonight. So welcome with us for the first time, none other than number 55 himself, Robert Mathis. Good evening to you, Robert Mathis.
Hey, what's going on, man? How about them dogs, man?
How about them?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Hey, let's talk ball. What you got?
Yes, sir.
Hey,
Yes, sir.
man. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. Hey, so my first thing is, and everybody's got questions. My first thing for you though, man, is let's go back to when you left A&M, right? And you lead the nation in sacks, right? So when you went, remind everybody, you were in the combine, correct?
I did not get that invite.
Okay, so you had a pro day.
Pro day.
And they had a lot of tape on you.
Right.
So when you heard your name called, though, in the 5th round, just take me back to that day when you heard with the 138th pick of the 2003 NFL draft, the Indianapolis Colts select Robert Mathis, Alabama A&M University. Start us from there.
Man, it's almost like I was the first pick of the first round. I was so excited because you just want an opportunity. The whole HBCU, our thing is you got to do twice as much to get half as far. And really, you just want an opportunity, man. So when I got that call in the 5th round, it was like the first round of me. So I just appreciate Alabama A&M for taking that chance on me coming out of high school in 1999, because I try to tell people this story, and they gave me the last scholarship of that particular year because the guy that they wanted spurned them on National Signing Day. So they just so happened to have one extra scholarship left, and they took a chance on me. So, hey, all you need is one, right? And I appreciate the opportunity, and I never sneeze at that, man.
Wow.
Nice. So I have a question. You played on the same hill that the athletes are playing on today. You know, in today's athlete, they feel that you have to go somewhere else to make it to the level, that you have to have the shiny things in the weight room. You worked out in the same weight room that we have now, ran the same field. Tell us what has to happen to get to that level, and what drive did you have?
I mean, well, these athletes, they feel like exposure is everything. You gotta, if they want you, they're gonna find you. They found me, because this was pre social media, pre everything. So if the people want you, they're gonna find you. So it's not about where you come from. It's about what you do, what you got. So we had, it was the sand pits, the damn football fields. I mean, they have a hell of a lot better situation than we had when I was running those, running around the hill in early 2000s. But they have everything that they need to be successful as they want to be, and that's simply it. I wish I can put some bells and whistles on it, but I can't. Okay. If you want it, go get it. That's it.
Right.
All right. First of all, again, it's such an honor to meet you. I have always admired your game. I had to get that out. I had to fangirl for a second. Let me ask you this: you are a legend, and I want to know who inspired your game, and if you met them, how was that interaction?
I never had a chance to meet him, but I grew up watching Derek Thomas, Kansas City
Oh, yeah.
Chiefs, a lot. I watched him, and actually I mimicked my game off of him. That's why I like to do. They call it a tomahawk strip sack. You come around, you get to the quarterback, and you try to take the football from him with a security tackle, and you just come around and just take the ball from him. So I watched him a lot growing up, and obviously when I got to A&M, my biggest mentor and biggest motivator was Coach T, Bronski Towns, man.
Mm-hmm.
He a lot of the stuff that he said, I still apply in my life today, and teach my guys. I train. I have a training / mentor company, the Gridiron Gang, and a lot of stuff he's taught me, I teach them. So each one teach one.
I want to actually ask you about your foundation. And before I get into that, shout out to your team for coordinating you being on the show with us. They were excellent with the communication and the correspondence. So I want to give a shout out to them.
Absolutely.
So yeah, definitely tell us about your foundation, because you guys host training camps. You do player development, not just for high school, but all level of athletes and all skill positions. So if you could talk to us a little bit about your foundation.
Well, it started early 2018. As my career was coming to an end, I noticed a lot of players and football, just in football period. They're not being trained the right way, and I know with myself, okay, I'm not in this to make a profit because I made the bulk of my pay during my career, but it's about reaching back, giving back, teaching them the right way, and it's really trying to make it off the field more so than on the field. So the things that I wished I had to learn on the fly, like my rookie year and from 2003 on up, things that's important like financial literacy, social media awareness, and also dining etiquette. That's you think about that, you don't really put much stock into it. But if you're at a business setting with business people that you're trying to do business with, they're gonna look at you. See, they want to find out what makes you tick. So, what better way to let your guard down than to put a steak in front of you and to see how you act? things like that. It's little stuff like that. So us, we don't really know a lot of this stuff, man. So and a lot of people really don't try to teach it, and just be earnest with it, and just and not charge them, because most of our clients, our student athletes, we try to scholarship them, and we try to get generous donors. They donate money. Big money corporations, they have to dump that money, tax money. Okay, we'll take it, and we take that and we scholarship our student athletes, so to where they don't have to pay anything. All you have to do is just get to us. And we specialize in inner city, in the Indianapolis area, and also rural areas, like in the country, out in the country, the sticks and stuff. The only thing is they just have to get to us and let us mold them and just shape them. But it's really just putting them in front of the right people to teach them the things, and also just having that. What I learned is it's who you know, not what you know, not necessarily what you know, and to build those networks. Because, and I always lead with, you don't have to be a professional athlete, you don't have to be a damn rapper to be successful. Whatever it is that you want to be, you can be that. So we're just trying to put you around the right people to groom you into whatever field that you want to go into.
That's good stuff.
Love that.
Very good stuff.
So Robert, when you were with the Colts, you played with Peyton Manning, who's a Hall of Famer. You played with Reggie Wayne, who is up there to be considered Marvin Harrison. But I want to know, what was that relationship that you had, like playing with Dwight Freeney on the other side, man? And how did you two elevate each other?
Well, a lot of people think he was a lot older than me. He was literally 1 year older than me. He came in 2002. I came in 2003. Obviously, our paths are very different. He comes from Connecticut, first round pick, Syracuse. I come from HBCU, inner city Atlanta. So I always say, okay, his plate was full. I had to put the stakes on my plate. So, and there you have it. I had to earn my seat at the table. And but I can say it was always awesome being able to play with him, because we fed off each other, we motivated each other, and we was each other's biggest cheerleader. So I was very ecstatic when he went into the Hall of Fame, and hey, I'm just waiting on my shot, the opportunity. So, and I just want to represent A&M in the best light possible.
Hey, speaking of A&M, give us your thoughts on the status of Alabama A&M football today. Like, what can we do to improve? How can we get back to that level of that nasty defense that you guys had back in the early 2000s, late 1990s?
Hey man, find a way to get Bronski Towns in that building.
That's a good start.
Hey, make him an advisor. Hey, something, make it comfortable for him. Just get him in that building, because that's gonna. The championship team in 06, you got people that I still talk to almost on a daily basis. People that they just truly desire to get back to that old Bulldog way. So Coach Maynard, I think, didn't they win it? What was that? 2020?
2021.
2020? 2021? Yeah, it's just. I mean, he came in. He he has the formula. Just just stick to it, and just put the OGs around, and just help him. Just help him out, man. Just do whatever we can to just help out. I went down there a couple years ago, 2 summers ago, for a week to help the D line. It was great, man. It just felt like it's Huntsville has changed a lot.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
Damn, like what is going on? What is this? And but it was good. I had a good time. It just felt like being back home again.
And just to follow up, if you don't mind, just now, you are currently now teaching professional athletes as a consultant with the Colts. Has
Has coaching at that level, so to speak, because I know you're not a coach, you're a consultant, but you still kind of coach. Like everything is like coaching. So has that always been a goal of yours? Like when you imagine retiring, did you say I'm just gonna sit back? I got to keep it going with the game.
Hell no, I didn't want to do. I didn't want to have anything to do with coaching. Like I said, like near the end of my career, start having a yearning to just teach the youth as the right way. So I always say if our young players, if they call you coach, if they call you unc, or if they call you OG, that means you got a responsibility.
Yeah.
And
Right.
once you have that, and that's respect that they're giving. They're giving you honor by calling you that. So you have to honor. You have to respond to that by feeding them the right stuff, man. And so that's what kind of motivates me to do what I'm doing. But it's more so I'm a trainer slash mentor guy versus an actual consultant for the coach, because I stepped away from that role like 2 years ago, and
Uh-huh.
I just exclusive. So I still train pro guys, but it's more so geared towards the grade school and the college guys, just to groom them, because as you know, the level of humility is a whole lot more with the youth than it is with pro guys, because you got to deal
Right.
with egos and people that think they got the answer already.
Yeah.
Nice. One of the things I admire about you is that even though you had all these successes in the NFL, you came back to the Hill to complete your education. Can you tell us what prompted that decision and what did you learn about returning back to complete your degree?
Say what you mean what you say. I told my mother that I would finish my degree, and obviously, the NFL came calling in 2003. So, hey, you got to get it while the getting is good. So I had to get it. And but I never wavered off what I promised my mother. I said I'm gonna go back and finish, and I was able to do that 2010. So I'm very appreciative of that.
Awesome.
What was your I guess outside of football, your time on the Hill, what was the most memorable time on the Hill that you had?
Man, it's really hanging on a quad, and just like stuff like that. Just hanging out at West, talking stuff, man. Just flirting with the women and stuff like that. No, just and it's really just the atmosphere. I wouldn't trade the HBCU experience for nothing. Mind you, I'm around a lot of these pro athletes that went to these big, big old schools, man. And when I tell them about my experience, they get jealous.
Oh yeah.
We didn't have the big money. We didn't have all this stuff. I mean, we did what we did, and I had a great time. You talking about the Dust to Dawn parties, and you got the probates, and you got all man. The bands, the battle of the bands, the Magic City Classic, just all this type of stuff, man. And you form lifelong friendships, just
Right.
the connections and the locker room dynamic, and you still laugh about stuff that this particular player may have said or did in practice. And I'm 43 years old, and I still laugh about this stuff now. That's the stuff that I remember, just the memories.
Yeah, man. And I'm just so glad that we had you on, but I would be remiss if I didn't ask you, when you were in high school, you were a classmate with Gucci Mane.
Yeah.
What was that like?
What was that like, man, with Gucci Mane?
Man, he was a knucklehead then. He's still a knucklehead now, man. It was just, bro. Yeah. I tell people, especially like my youth, because that's how you can make the connection. I say, hey, I grew up inner city Atlanta, but actually McNair High School is right on the other side of Atlanta, which is Decatur, DeKalb County. But, bruh, yeah, he was a knucklehead. But what's funny was I was actually closer with, I don't know if y'all remember him. His name was OJ the Juice Man.
Yep, remember him.
That was my little partner in high school. But Gucci, he was doing some Gucci shit.
Oh, that's classic, man. That's classic, man. So lastly for you, we know you got the consulting. We know you have, you're still working with the youth. Just what are some more of your forward goals though as you enter into the next chapters of your life?
Really, it's just using my platform to push others, man, just to uplift others, and like with the youth here, and just trying to be and use I want to say a networking platform. You reach out to other guys like that's done it in the league, that they have genuine interest in wanting to just help the youth. So if there's anybody that they genuinely just want to help the youth, I'm open to it. But it's a lot of damn wolves out there, man. They doing it just to make a buck, and also just to help my school, So I would love to come back again for like a week and just work out with the D line there and just kind of show my face. But hey, I'm here. I'm a vessel, and I'm just here to help.
We're gonna get you in contact with Coach Howard.
Yeah, we're gonna make that work.
That happen.
Yeah, tell them, man, I got some players up here. I've been trying to send down there, but they won't. Hey, come get them.
Hey, yeah, we're gonna make that happen.
We can cut that little snippet right there.
Right.
Here we go. So Robert, man, this has been awesome, and
Yes.
we do want to spend more time with you in the future for sure. If we can make it work with your schedule to get you back on here. We're just grateful that you took time, had time out of your busy schedule to come and join us and be with us. Everybody, and also I gotta just put up here, man. People were laughing, not Gucci Mane.
Hey, but his name is Roderick. We called his ass Roderick in high school.
Right.
Yeah. And then also Arby Parker, shout out to Arby. It won't be long before you hit the hall, Robert. Hang in there.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. And Canton is about an hour and 15 minutes from where I live. So you get in the hall, I'll be there.
Let's get it.
Yeah. So everybody, this is Robert Mathis, number 55 in your program from A&M, number 98 in the pros, 14 years with the Indianapolis Colts, Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champion, A&M legend, and soon to be Pro Football Hall of Famer. We putting it in the atmosphere.
Yes.
Everybody give it up one more time for Robert Mathis.
Thank you, sir.
God bless you, man. We'll see you up the road, man.
I appreciate y'all, man.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you. Man, that was awesome, y'all. That was awesome. Awesome time with him. So we gonna keep
like Robert Mathis is the definition of start here, go anywhere.
Right.
That's
like
it.
Legendary.
And he said it, and I say it all the time. If you're good, they will find you.
Yeah.
You don't have to go search it.
That's right. That's right. So we're going to keep the energy flowing. Our next guest tonight, he was number 37 in your program. He was another one of these A&M legends as a defensive back. He is originally from, Jen, ready for this? He's originally from Birmingham, Alabama.
Turn up.
A 1998 graduate of Alabama A&M. Some of his previous coaching stops include South Carolina, also at Alabama A&M, that school down the street, McNeese State, Louisville, Old Dominion, and currently he is entering into his third season as the secondary coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Grady Brown. Welcome, Grady.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
Welcome, Coach. Welcome.
Hey, we glad to have you, man. So, like I said, number 37, you're a graduate, you're a coach, you got a lot of miles that you have traveled in a football life. So, I want to start though back when you're at A&M, your playing days are done at A&M. You graduate. Now what?
That's an excellent place to start. The first thing I'll say is just listening to Mathis as it goes back to my days finishing up. My last year was 98, as you said. Mathis came in 99. And so that year, it took me 5 years to graduate. So my last year playing was 98, but I didn't graduate until spring of 2000, May of 2000. So 99, fall of 99 was my fifth fall in school, and which was Mathis' freshman year. And so I had an opportunity to just be a student and go to the games. And I still had a lot of buddies that had been redshirted from my class that were playing. And I remember watching Mathis play as a freshman and just saying to myself, wow. I mean, just saying to myself, wow. He had a lot of things that you can't teach. And then I ended up getting into coaching at A&M, but I'm not surprised at all by the success that he had as a player. And then when I started coaching at A&M, I just remember him being really focused, a man of few words. That's probably the most I've heard him talk during the time frame that I've known him. He was just always focused, a man of a few words, seemed to be highly determined. And so it's pretty cool to listen to you guys interview him. But yeah, so for me, I tell people all the time, I was a good player for where I played. And I'm comfortable with saying that. I wasn't necessarily an NFL talent, but I was a good player for where I played. I think I got the most out of my talent. And but just like anybody else, you want to try to further your playing career, whether it's NFL, CFL, or whatever the case may be. And for me, I actually was at that point, and I went to school to be a math teacher, and it was kind of like, well, all right, I'm getting ready to graduate, and do I take a job teaching math, or do I try to pursue playing football? And I knew that if I took a job teaching, I wouldn't be able to pursue football. And around that time, you guys may not remember, but the Tennessee Valley Vipers came to Huntsville.
Oh, I remember.
And so it just made sense. It just made sense. So I said to myself, well, what I'll do is, I wasn't sure if I wanted to coach or not, but I knew if I did coach, I wanted to do it on a collegiate level. So what I said was, I'll go ahead and be a graduate assistant coach. This is 2000. I said, I'll be a graduate assistant coach. That way I could still train. I could play for the Vipers because it's right there in town. And it just all made sense to me. And so I played that one spring with the Vipers. It was fun and everything like that, but I realized that I wasn't going to make it to the NFL. And so around that time, like I said, I was a GA and I was playing with the Vipers. And so when I made the decision to stop pursuing football as a player, that would have been 2001. Ron Cooper, my then head coach, promoted me from being a graduate assistant to being the outside linebackers coach. And from that point, I just felt like that was a sign of God telling me, hey, this is what you need to do. And my career just kept moving from there.
Nice. So hope I don't steal Jen's thunder here, but you're from Birmingham, Alabama. You're in Pittsburgh now. How was that change? You know, from down here from the 205 to whatever area code it is. How are you adapting to that now?
Right, in the 412. So the interesting thing is you got to understand, I graduated from Winona High School in 95. I have not really lived in Birmingham full time since then.
Right.
We moved back maybe in 2016. My wife and I did, and we bought a home in Birmingham. So we're still here in the summers and everything. But I've been so many places, you know, from Virginia Beach to, like you said, Louisville, to so many different climates, so many different places. And in my profession, it's such a difficult task to keep a job, particularly keep a good job, that I generally don't get tied into where I am. I'm just attracted to what I'm doing. So, you know, it gets cold now. It gets cold. My golf suffers because I don't get a chance to play very much. I don't play in the cold. I only play when it gets warm. And so outside of the cold, I mean, it's pretty much similar to Birmingham, just a larger city. It's an industrial town. but it's not a big adjustment.
Got it.
Nice. First of all, again, welcome back home, team. Um, I want to know more about your foundation. Your foundation is named after Mr. Arthur and Miss Eva Brown. Could you tell us more about them and what prompted you to do this foundation?
Yeah, so you want to talk about my foundation and what I'm doing, and when I say my foundation, I mean me as a person, me as a man. My parents, Arthur Brown, Eva Brown, they were both educators in Jefferson County. My dad was a high school principal, was a teacher for a long time. My mom taught in Jefferson County. She taught elementary school at Gardendale Elementary, and I forget the name of the other school, but they both taught for over 30 years. My brother, Steve Brown, I think he may be going on 30 years of being an educator. So I come from a family of educators, and anyone that grew up with me and knew my parents, they knew that they were about educators and education and helping people. And my brother, Steve Brown, like I said, he's the he's the principal at Inglenook Elementary, and he actually founded the Arthur and Eva Brown Foundation. And I pretty much just come in under him and try to use my talent and resources and connections to service our community, because I don't believe God is giving me all of these experiences just for me to sit on them and just for me to benefit from them. I'm about information sharing. And kind of like what Mathis was saying, it's so many things that you say, I wish I knew then what I know now. So just try to share that information. But yeah, so the role that I play from a football standpoint is just, we have a camp every year. We just had our 4th camp this summer, and it's a youth development camp. And we use football as a way to get the inner city kids out there, and we train them and we teach them good football fundamentals. But we also have people to come in and just talk about career exposure. We had Dundee West. I think Dundee may be I graduated in 2000. Maybe he's like a 04 graduate of A&M. He's does coding and cybersecurity. We had an NFL official to come in and talk to the kids this year. You always think about playing, you think about coaching, but you can make a great career as an NFL official. We have business people throughout the city to come in and speak. So we just try to expose them to different career opportunities, try to keep them away from the streets, and also teach them good football fundamentals. It's interesting to hear Robert Mathis speak about Coach Towns, because that's someone that's near and dear to my heart. He recruited me and really taught me all of the fundamentals of defensive back play. And so we honored him this past Friday, right before Father's Day weekend, with a dinner, and it was awesome. So many former players came back, so many stories. We laughed, and he had a great time, and it was awesome. And we also did a high school coaches clinic earlier that day on Friday. So I just come in and I just try to give people their roses while they can receive them, and I just try to offer my talents and resources to help our community.
Now, I'm glad you said that, because I want to give your mother her roses. I actually was her student in the 6th grade.
Wow.
Your mother taught me at Hillview Elementary, also in Jersey.
Yes. Hillview, that's the one I couldn't think of. Yes.
Yes, that's I was like, I know what school it is.
Daniel Payne and Hillview. Yes.
Yes,
wow.
She was my 6th grade teacher, and she taught me so much about life and how to carry yourself as a lady. So I want to give her flowers in her memory. She touched my life. So thank you for sharing your parents with us. You have no idea the impact that they had on us.
Wow, that is awesome. Thank you for sharing. Look at God working. It's amazing that we're able to connect and have that conversation.
Yes.
Right.
So, and thanks for that information about your foundation, because I was definitely going to ask about your foundation and also the benefit dinner that you had. I think was great, because Mathis just also mentioned Towns, as you stated. So appreciate you sharing information with us. So if you could take us back to your time on the Hill, and I'll throw you the same question that I threw Mathis. What was A&M like on the Hill? What was, Grady Brown doing outside of football?
Wow, man. A&M was everything for me. I mean, you have to understand, and Jay, you said you know my mom, so just to give you context, my mom and dad met at A&M in the 50s.
Wow.
I grew up going to the Magic City Classic. I mean, they would buy me a new outfit every Magic City Classic. I grew up going to homecoming. I remember crying. I remember, and I'm talking 5, 6. I remember crying when A&M lost the Magic City Classic. My older brother went to Alabama A&M, so really to go to A&M and play football and play in the Magic City Classic, the game. I'm from Birmingham, the game I grew up going to play in a homecoming at A&M. I mean, the game that I grew up going to the homecoming parades and all that type stuff. I mean, A&M was a dream come true for me. I met my wife at A&M. A lot of great friends that I'm in a group text with today that we talk on a regular basis. I mean, words really can't describe what A&M was for me. It was everything. It was everything I could have dreamed of and more. On the field, off the field, just being able to really just live a dream and just have a dream come true. Alabama A&M was everything for me, and it's a place that I hold very close to my heart. I have 2 nieces that have graduated from Alabama A&M. My youngest niece just graduated a month ago. And so just to be able to follow in my parents' footsteps, follow in my older brother's footsteps, and go there and actually blaze my own path and be a solid player, be a solid student. And I would like to think I was solid, socially. I mean, it was everything. It was everything. Words really can't do it any justice.
Yeah. Before I ask you my next question, Grady, I do have to just say this. I'd be remiss if when we talk about that magical year in 1998, still to me, the greatest day that I ever had as a student at A&M was that homecoming game, 1998, when we beat Southern. Talk about, man, because you was on the field. So just tell us, man. Just take us inside, man. What was it like playing that game, man?
It's so many layers. It's so many layers that I'll dive into. As I look at the screen, over my left shoulder is a picture of that game. My wife bought that for me for a birthday maybe about 8 years ago. Man, that game was awesome. That game was awesome. I mean, I can remember pulling into, because that was our first year in the SWAT.
Yep, sure was.
And unfortunately, I lost a few Magic City Classics. I lost more than I won, but I never lost a homecoming. And we had just lost to Tennessee State bad, like the week before, maybe 2 weeks before. I mean, they beat us bad in Nashville. And we had Southern coming in the next week for homecoming. And I still remember pulling into the stadium, and we all know Southern travels as well as any other team in the nation.
They was there on Tuesday, bruh. On Tuesday.
I remember pulling into the stadium, and it was like blue and yellow everywhere, tents, Southern tents everywhere. And we were there also, but just that atmosphere was absolutely amazing. And I remember Southern taking the field with a certain level of confidence and a certain level of arrogance, probably. When I played, they would say, when I coached in the SWAC, they would say that SWAC stands for Southern Wins Another Championship. And I can remember them showing up with a certain level of confidence, certain level of arrogance. And when I played, I heard you guys talking about the SWAC Media Day. Well, when I played, I caught the end of the old school SWAC Media Day, where the head coach, and the SID from every team in the SWAC, we were all on a bus. And we went to every city that had a SWAC team. It was about a 10-day tour. and we went to every city that had a SWAC team and did a press conference. So it wasn't just a media day where everybody met in Birmingham. So I was on a bus with guys, like one of my good college buddies, Jackie Mitchell, was a strong safety that played there. I got to be cool with him. And Pete Jenkins, legendary coach, was not Pete Jenkins. That's the D-line coach. I can't think of Coach Pete's name right now, but Coach Pete was the legendary coach at Southern, and Doug Williams was the coach. Doug Williams was the coach at Grambling, and so I knew those guys, and you know, they showed up with that arrogance, man. But we had not lost a homecoming, and you talked about playing defense. We knew we would play great defense. We've always played great defense. That's what we do. And going into that game, another layer as a side note, one of my good friends, Michael Pinckney, texted me before the game to say that make sure to tell everybody that I played with Mr. Homecoming, a self-proclaimed Mr. Homecoming, Roland Hayes, who was a great quarterback for us. But 98 was that year when Roland was healthy, we won, and when Roland was not healthy, we lost. Just plain and simple. We were an option team. And he showed up, and he was definitely Mr. Homecoming that day. We used to call him the Great Rodini, is what we used to call him. And he showed up, man, and he did his thing, and we did our thing defensively. And that's one of my fondest memories as a football player at Alabama A&M.
Yeah, man. Go ahead, T.
So I just want to switch gears a little bit from college. Now you're coaching as a secondary coach for one of the most storied franchises in the NFL, for a legendary family, for one of the greatest head coaches in football. Tell us about your experience from locker room to how do you deal with those grown men that make millions of dollars, to just dealing with everything in the NFL with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Right. I echo what you said about the Rooneys. They are a great family to work for. The organization, you feel it. You feel it the same way when you brought up Alabama A&M to Mathis and he talked about defense. And I know things may have been different as of late. And when you think Alabama A&M, you think defense, you feel certain things that come along with Alabama A&M football. You feel that when you walk into our building. I mean, you feel the Lombardi trophies. And to be honest with you, we're a little bit different as an organization. It may be more of a college feel because we've been owned by the same people for so long. We've had a head coach that's going on 18 years. I think he said, I read a stat, I think we have 3 head coaches in the last 50 years.
That's correct.
You will easily see Troy in a building, Troy Polamalu. You'll easily see Troy in a building. You'll easily see Mel Blount. I see Mel Blount at least 3 times a year. I see Troy at least 2 times a year. I've seen Jerome Bettis in the building a couple of times. Like, you see those guys, and I'm not sure that it's like that in the other buildings. So we kind of get a college feel. There are defensive backs that may come sit in a meeting, and they just come sit in the back of the meeting just because they love football and they want to be back in a Steeler meeting room, and they may come to practice. And one of my most talented younger players, Joey Porter Jr. I mean, his dad played with the Steelers, and now Joey was telling me a story about how he remember running around the halls of the building, when he was 5 or 6. Because my son was there that day, and he said, I remember when I was like your son running through the building. So it's so many things about the Steelers that make it just make it feel homely, feel more like college. One of the first people I talked to when I accepted the job was John Stallworth, and obviously we had the A&M contact, but to get on the phone with him and have a 45-minute conversation with him, it's different. It's different, and it feels a lot like college in terms of the intimacy of the building, in terms of the intimacy of the relationships. As it relates to coaching the guys, at the end of the day, like we talked about my parents being educators, and I went to school to be a math teacher. I'm still teaching football. I'm just not teaching math. Had I known I would be teaching football, I don't think I would have taken those calculus classes that I took. I probably would have chosen a different route. But I'm still teaching. I'm just teaching football, and I know that I'm operating in a space that God intended for me to operate in. So it's easy for me to speak about the things that I speak about. So the guys that may have issues are the guys that are a little bit uncomfortable speaking in those terms, and generally those guys may not end up in the NFL. So I've not had an issue with adjusting. The biggest difference I would say is that in the NFL with your players, you are co-workers versus in college. It's more the hierarchy is the coach is up here and maybe the player is underneath the coach in some form or fashion. But in the NFL, we're co-workers. And I mean, just in any corporation, any place of occupation, everybody doesn't make the same money. So it really doesn't matter that one guy just signed for $17 million and one guy may be making $600,000. That part of it really doesn't matter because it's relative to the environment, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. I guess the only time it matters is when you're buying Christmas gifts and you're talking about who's paying for dinner. But outside of that, the money part really doesn't come up in it. We're just chasing being the best secondary, the best defense in the AFC North. Want to win the AFC North, get in the playoffs, win a playoff game, and make a Super Bowl run.
Nice. I just want to piggyback off what you said about the Steelers having that college vibe. One of the biggest things about the Steelers outside of their trophies and success is the fan base. And I know several Steelers fans, they have their terrible towels. They say, here we go. How do your players feed off of that energy?
Now, I will say this, that plays a huge part in really the game day atmosphere in your success, believe it or not, because the NFL season is so long. I mean, it's a 17-game regular season, a four-game preseason, right? That's 21 weeks right there. I think we start training camp on July 24th. And so just you have an off week, that's 24 weeks. All right. We played a playoff game, that's 25 weeks. We're looking to play a Super Bowl. We're looking to make a Super Bowl run. I mean, the Super Bowl is not until first weekend in February, I think it is now. So you're talking about going to training camp July 23rd. And if you make it to the Super Bowl, that'll be the first Sunday in February. So
now it's the second week in Saturday in February now.
Second Sunday in February. So that game day environment, walking into a stadium and seeing those terrible towels, I mean, it plays a huge difference. Even the fans showing up to training camp to Latrobe. We practice at Latrobe at St. Vincent's College, a Division III school. Even the fans, the 10,000 fans that we'll have at practice, I mean, it does a lot. It's almost like going to the gym for a workout and having your music in your ears versus going to the gym and working out and you left your iPhone, your earbuds at home. You're like, man, you almost don't want to work out. You kind of like, man, I got to go in here and work out without my playlist. So the fans provide a great atmosphere and like you said, we have a tremendous fan base, and you really feel it on the road. Like I believe we open up with Atlanta, and we'll probably have as many fans, if not more, in Atlanta than the Falcons will. We played in LA last year. Any transit city, transplant city, Atlanta, LA, Las Vegas, Miami, any place like that, will likely have as many or more fans in those stadiums.
That's awesome. Well, and when I heard you say win the AFC North, I'm a native Clevelander. I live here in Ohio. Cleveland Browns and Pittsburgh Steelers has been rivals forever, but I have been a fan of Mike Tomlin, and I've always been a fan of you. So always, I root for you guys, except when you play us. I'll especially root for you because I hate Dallas. You guys got Dallas Cowboys on the schedule. Yeah, shout out to all you Dallas Cowboy fans out there. Hello. But you mentioned something that's so crazy though about Pittsburgh is Chuck Noll started there in 1969. It's only been Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, and Mike Tomlin for 54 seasons.
That's
now getting ready to be 55th season. So that puts it all in contrast right there. So
Correct.
Lastly here, Grady, before we'll get you out of here on this. So you're headed into another season with the Steelers, but up the road, what are some of your forward goals? Is head coaching something that you desire? Just let us know a little bit about that.
Excellent one to finish on. I'll piggyback on your ties to the Browns. What a great series. I'll be honest with you. I was not familiar with Steelers versus Browns, Pittsburgh versus Cleveland, and the atmosphere until I took that job. And it's amazing. It is amazing. And it's kind of like the statement you made. It's kind of like a lot of my teammates, a lot of my close friends, when I went to coach at Alabama State, they would always say that they hope that the secondary plays well, but they hope that that Alabama State loses. So I understand. I think during that time frame, my mom was the only person that was, and my wife Rashida were the only two people that had kind of like switched over to the Alabama State side to pull for me, not my father or my brother. So I'm good. I understand what you're saying. Man, as far as being a head coach, that is an excellent question. And I'll have to be 100% transparent. I was talking with my wife about this not long ago. Our profession is awesome. It's amazing. But it's an interesting profession also, because I can't just go apply to be, I could, but I can't just go apply to be the head coach of whatever NFL team or whatever college team or whatever the case may be. You can, but you can't. Really, you are chosen for those jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to be, and this is just me. I really don't have a good answer. I'm really just being 100% transparent. I have to be careful about my goal setting. If the question is, do I want to be a head coach? Do I believe I have the talent? Do I believe that God has given me the talent to be a head coach? Yes. Do I believe I have the talent to be a defensive coordinator? Absolutely. The experience to be an absolute coordinator? Absolutely. The ingenuity, all of those things? Yes. But I'm not in control of those things. And as a minority in a profession that's dominated by, I guess, the majority, if you will, that's a tricky goal setting. Personal goal setting can be tricky, because what if I were to say, I won't stop until I become a head coach? Well, it's really out of my control.
Right.
So what I'm really doing is preparing for those opportunities, because what I do know is that if someone wants to interview me for a head coaching job, if someone wants to interview me for a defensive coordinator job, I won't have time to get ready. The only question I'll ask is okay, what time am I flying in? And then from that standpoint, I'll put my best foot forward. So for me, that's kind of a tricky. I have not let the world or this profession damper my dreams, but I am careful about setting realistic goals that I know I can accomplish. I know that I can, if I work hard enough, I can reach out and grab those goals, if I'm making sense.
Hey, that's awesome, man. And it's been great. I've been fully enlightened. Everybody else out here, they've been enlightened. The comments have been, people have been talking about, just everything you mentioned about Mike Pinckney. He just wanted to say, I remember Mike too, man. Big Mike. Shout out to you, Mike. Talk about homecoming. And something else that he corrected me on. You're right, man. It's the 4th season. I said 3rd. It's your 4th season. My apologies.
It's all good. That's what friends are for.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. And speaking of my best friend, he wanted me to remind you. He said, "Don't forget that Grady Brown was the head coach of the legendary Senior Bowl a couple years ago."
Yeah, that was a
dope.
great opportunity. I actually was the defensive coordinator. And speaking of, just to piggyback on our last question, the NFL they're doing things to try to promote minority coaches and give us opportunities to be in leadership. And 2 years ago, what the Senior Bowl did is they gave coaches an opportunity to coach up. So Pat Graham, who was a defensive coordinator for the Raiders, he was the head coach. And then the Senior Bowl brought me in to be the defensive coordinator.
Awesome.
And so there were other assistant coaches that came up to be assistant coaches. So yeah, I was the defensive coordinator of the Senior Bowl. I'll be ready when my opportunities comes, and I wouldn't be surprised if it happened in the near future.
Awesome.
I'm just making sure that we play good defense.
Talk your talk, Bulldog.
That's
Yes,
what's up.
Yes, sir.
We got your back. So
Well, we wish you the best, man, on this upcoming season.
yes.
I'm so thankful. We're all thankful that you've taken the time to come join us tonight. Hopefully here in the near future, we can get you back on. Good luck with the Steelers. I know you got training camp coming up. And, even though you're not in training camp, we know that as a coach, we know you still always preparing stuff. So, this, ladies and gentlemen, this is one of our Bulldog legends.
Yes.
Grady Brown, he was number 37 in your program, a defensive back. He's currently the defensive backs coach or a secondary coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Grady Brown, thank you. God bless, man.
Thank you,
We'll
sir. I
see you
appreciate
up
it.
this
Appreciate
road.
it. All right.
All
peace.
right. That's Grady
And
Brown, y'all.
one thing about the Steelers defense, in fantasy football, I'm always picking them. So,
Right.
the proof is in the pudding. Proof is in the
Right.
pudding.
Yeah. So we got one more segment for y'all tonight. And
We
this
do.
this gentleman makes his second appearance on our show. We actually had him on the 3rd episode we ever had.
We did.
3rd episode we ever had.
You should have
And
clipped
so-
it and played it.
So when we talk about coaching and coaches, this keeps up with the theme of being well traveled because he's a graduate of A&M. He also has been a strength and conditioning coach. You ready for this? He's been at Purdue, Ole Miss, Kansas State, Tennessee, that school down the road, and now currently he serves as a strength and conditioning associate
Hey,
in
Wayne,
the NFL.
and before you bring him on, you didn't mention all the high schools as well. He's also done it on the high school level.
Yep. Hey, Texas. Friday Night Lights in the state of Texas.
Right.
Doesn't get bigger than Texas. Everything's bigger in Texas. But he currently serves as a strength and conditioning associate in the NFL for the Los Angeles Rams. So, ladies and gentlemen, would you welcome with me all the way out there in Los Angeles, California, Christopher Aninye. Welcome back, brother. Welcome back.
What's up? What's up? Appreciate y'all having me on.
What's going on, sir?
Man, trying to make it. How y'all doing?
We're
It's
good.
been great, man. It's been great. And you joined us on a very special night, man. So, we just keep up with the theme of the night with Bulldogs in the NFL. And you've been so well traveled, man. And now that you're there, you're here with the NFL. Let me just ask you. So you've done it on the high school level, you've done it on the college level, now you're on the pro level. Talk about just the progression from where you started to where you are And what are you learning now that you're in the NFL that you may not have known at your previous stops?
Man, the progression, it's been, a lot of ups and downs, but thankfully more ups than downs. Once again, appreciate y'all having me on. Now, y'all got me following these OGs like Mathis and Grady. I'm like, man, y'all gonna do me like that? I got me following the OGs, but nah, I'm just joking. But yeah, definitely appreciate y'all having me on. Just in regards, starting out, I mean, just going back to A&M, I didn't know what I wanted to do. Just in regards to career-wise, I thought I knew what I wanted to do. I mean, just going from trying to play football to I was a telecommunications major at first, and then I changed my major to physical education. I was like, all right, I'm gonna be a high school football coach. And so graduated, got into doing high school football coaching, and thought I wanted to just do that. The goal was to be a head high school football coach, go back to my old high school, rebuild a program, all of that good stuff. And then the more and more time I spent in the weight room, and that goes back to A&M with Coach Andrew Lee, the more time I spent in the weight room, the less I wanted to be on the field and the less I wanted to watch film, because high school football evolved a lot more compared to like even when I was in high school. When I was in high school, we had tapes and DVDs watching, and even before that, they had the VHSs and all that stuff. When I started coaching, everything started going digital. They started live streaming games, all this other stuff. So it just got to be a lot with doing the weight room. So I just went to doing high school strength and conditioning, strictly that. And then the more and more I did that, I was like, man, I want to do college. And I had GA with Coach Lee back at A&M. And so got an opportunity to go back to college. Went back and forth between college and high school, just climbing those ranks, chasing money, chasing positions, chasing opportunities. And also, just trying to, enhance my resume a good bit. And so, NFL never really crossed my mind. When I was a kid, of course, I think every boy has aspirations of being a professional football, a basketball player, stuff like that. But in regards to during my coaching time, the NFL really didn't cross my radar until when I was at K-State. And that was last year. So last year, we went to visit the Philadelphia Eagles when I was at K-State. We went in, they brought us in, they kind of rolled out the red carpet. We got a chance to watch them train and stuff like that. And I'm like, man, the NFL look kind of cake compared to college. Like, I need to get to the league. College is, even though both are a grind, but in regards to the strength and conditioning side, college, you have to develop a lot more. The team is large. You got 120 plus players. You got to deal with multiple different personalities. You got to recruit. You got to do this. You got to do that. You got to discipline guys. You got to be a father figure, everything. So, watching the Eagles, I was like, man, this looks like it'll be a nice gig. So I told myself that I was going to do one of those Bill Walsh fellowships, kind of alluding to what Grady mentioned earlier, just in regards to NFL, trying to throw out opportunities for minorities to get those positions. So I told myself the following year I was going to do one. So boom, we finished the season at K-State. I'm home for the break. I get a call from the head strength coach at K-State. He's like, hey, my boy said he's looking for a guy at Tennessee. And I'm like, that's 3 hours away from the house, So boom, pack up, move to Tennessee. And I was at Tennessee 6 weeks. And going back to my time at Purdue, when I got hired at Purdue in 2020, the head strength coach there, my boy Justin Lovett, who's the head strength coach here with the LA Rams, is going back to opportunities. I left that high school in Texas to go to Purdue. I worked at K-State. I worked at Western Kentucky. Lovett was the head strength coach at Western Kentucky some years ago. We had that connection. He brought me in at Purdue. I was at Purdue maybe 3 weeks. He got hired with the LA Rams. Fast forward 2024, Lovett hits me up. Hey, man, I got a spot open. I know you want to get to the league, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. the Lord working mysterious ways. Boom, now I'm in LA. So this is like year 16, 17 of coaching, just climbing that ladder, having a great support system. Is in regards to people pushing me, whether it's, friends in the industry or family, and also people keeping it real with me and letting me know, like, hey, man, we can't always help you get a job. You got to go out and network for yourself. One of my frat brothers, he told me that, and he said, dog, you can't always hit me up when these jobs come up. You got to meet some people too. And so I told myself, I was like, man, I ain't gonna never call him again for another job, And so, but he gave me that good pressure in regards to, hey, man, get out there and network, meet some people, and boom, here we are today. From Hurtsboro, Alabama to Los Angeles, California. So thankful for the opportunity. It's been a journey for sure, and still looking to, progress in multiple ways on and off the field.
Man, you pretty much said everything. I don't know if I got anything to ask you, but
I went on a rant. My bad.
That's my fault, man. That's my fault. I started off with that loaded question. My fault.
It was good. It was good information though. So like the last thing you just mentioned is from Hurtsboro, Alabama to Los Angeles, California. I've been knowing Chris since he got the A&M 04. Me and his cousin got the A&M in 2003. She said, "Hey, I got my little cousin coming to A&M too." I'm like, okay, cool. But I remember Chris ain't never, we were the heathens. He ain't drank nothing. He ain't smoked nothing. So I'm not shocked that he's a strength and conditioning coach now, because he's always taking care of himself. But I mean, because we watch the NFL draft, we watch the NBA draft, and you get these players getting their emotions when they get that call to the stage. How was that call, that offer letter, whatever they sent, when you got it from the Los Angeles Rams to coach all the way to LA? You're from deep country. Now you're in one of the biggest cities in the world. So how was that call, man?
It was it took me back, and and so y'all gonna send me on another rant. So I got the call. And when the process starts, kind of like when I got the offer from Tennessee, the process started. I had a good feeling that I was gonna get the gig, but it didn't really set in until I got there, or until it was like more people were like, "Man, you going to Tennessee?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, just another job." They're like, "Man, University of Tennessee," And so same thing with the NFL. People were like, "Man, Chris, boy, you going to the league?" I'm like, "Man, just another gig." They're like, "Boy, this is the NFL," And so I got that call. Like I said, my boy Lovett, been knowing him for some years. He's always been a solid guy. So when he offered me the job, I was excited. I was happy. But the first thing popped in my mind, I had just moved from Tennessee. And so my stuff was still in boxes. Like my furniture had just got delivered maybe like 3 days before. He told me not to unpack. I was like, man, I got to break this lease. I gotta get my contract right. I got to break my contract with Tennessee. I got to do this. So I'm thinking about all this stuff on my to-do list versus kind of soaking it in. And so, I called and told my mom that I'm being nonchalant about it, like I wasn't excited. And she was like, I had about maybe like a week or so before I was about to leave, maybe about a week and a half. And my mom, I was going back down to the Hurt. And she was like, "Chris, we're gonna have a cookout for you." I'm like, "Man, nah, we ain't gotta do all that." She was like, "Boy, we having a cookout." I'm like, "All right, okay, whatever." And so it didn't really hit me then, before then until that cookout. Everybody was coming around, everybody was telling me how proud they were. I was getting texts and phone calls and stuff like that. And so it took me back to when I was in high school. So and Jordan had transitioned into doing, athletic attire for football and stuff. So it was this commercial he had with I think it was like Derek Jeter, Randy Moss and stuff like that. I think I was in 7th or 8th grade. And the song Overjoyed by Stevie Wonder's playing in the background.
I remember that.
You remember that? All right?
Oh yeah, I remember that commercial. That was great.
So I remember seeing that commercial. And I told my mom, I was like, "Mom, I'm gonna make it to the NFL." She was like, "I believe you are." And so fast forward, as a kid, I'm thinking I'm gonna make it as a player, but like I said, God works in mysterious ways. Boom, I get the call, and now I made it as a coach. And so, we had the cookout, and my mom, she was saying some words, and of course I started to get emotional. I came up and I was thanking everybody, but I told everybody about that commercial back in 98, 99, being a kid, telling my mom I was going to the NFL. She believed in me. So in that moment, that's when it really hit, like, man, I'm going to the NFL. And I told my family, I was like, it's my obligation to, maximize this opportunity, put on for them, as well as try to put my people in a position to be successful. A lot of us get in these positions, we forget where we come from, we forget the hard work that it took to get where we are and where we want to be. I feel obligated to, do something just in regards to giving people the blueprint that I didn't necessarily have, or I didn't knew existed. So, but to answer your question, yeah, in that moment, talking to my family, man, I was crying like a baby, snot coming out of my nose and everything. But it put me in that, it took me back to 98, 99, whenever that commercial came out. And, my mom believing in me, and she always supported me, and over worrying like a mom does when I was making these sacrifices, going different jobs. And this is state number 9. So it's been great.
Good stuff.
Nice. Where I want to go is this now with strength and conditioning. Everyone knows about the physical aspect of it. Working out, making sure that players are strong to compete. Could you tell the casual fan that may not know what all it entails, what all goes into strength and conditioning?
Oh man, you have to be definitely double jointed and versatile in regards to establishing relationships. I think it starts with the parents, because like I said, now especially at the collegiate level, strength coaches have to develop those relationships with parents as well, high school and college. But got to have relationships with parents and players. If they don't trust you, if they can't rock with you, going back to what Mathis was saying, if they're not calling you coach, OG, and you probably don't have no respect from them, especially if they some of us. And so I'm 37 now, and cats started calling me OG and Unc a couple years ago. I'm like, man, I'm getting old. But then I started embracing it because that's what we call the OGs. That's what we call people we care about. So those relationships, and I think most importantly, the head coach that you're working for, the admin that you're working for, kind of pushing their mission, but doing it the way that you're being authentic with it, the way that you can do it. Developing players, mind, body, and soul. I think it's all about, you got to prep athletes for life, whether they're in the NFL, college, or, high school level. I mean, these cats call me OG now. Some of these guys, 21, 22 years old, and they make way more money than I do, but they still need that guidance in regards to life and things like that. I can't tell you how to manage 16 million, but I can tell you, if it's Saturday night about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, you've been drinking, don't drive that car. Or, hey, if you get into an argument with somebody, hey, man, don't sacrifice that contract. Hey, just end up walking away, leave the situation alone, So just in regards to, like I said, building those relationships, pushing the head coach's mission and culture, and in regards to like X's and O's, everybody's doing a variation of the same exercises, but it's how you're doing them. I can coach bench press completely different from another coach, but I feel I could get way more out of that guy doing that same exercise because I tapped into his mind and his heart. So we're doing the same workouts, we're doing the same conditioning, but I didn't tap into that guy's soul, I didn't tap into that guy's mind. So when I speak, he's gonna run through a wall for me because he knows when he needs something, I got his back too. So I think that's the difference in regards to just saying, hey, we got a strength and conditioning coach. You need to bring in a male or a female who can establish those relationships, who can prep those athletes for life, who can have those genuine conversations with them, who can hold them accountable, number one. I showed up on the job. I remember at this one particular big time school, showed up on the job and a cat showed up late. And I thought it was great because I got a chance to see how the guys, the coaches were going to react to it, that staff. They didn't hold that guy accountable, and I knew I was in the wrong spot. So little things like that. If I don't hold you accountable for this weight room, you ain't gonna be held accountable when you get that job. Then you're gonna end up getting fired. Then you're gonna be able to feed your family. So I'm gonna start instilling those life lessons in you now. So it's bigger than getting stronger and faster, even though that's important because people can mess that up too because they don't know what they're doing. But I think you got to be a man or woman of many hats in regards to prepping them for life and prepping them for competition mentally as well as physically on and off the field.
And that was good info because I think it dials into you just being accountable, for each other and with the players. I wanted to still stay with strength and conditioning because when Robert Mathis was on, he talked about how he came back to campus, I think during the summertime a couple of years ago and did some work with the D-line or defensive squad. So with all the experience that you have, the different places you've been and now being in the NFL, if given the opportunity, would you come back to the Hill and do like a 1-week camp with the football team and, work them out for a little bit?
Man, absolutely. I would love the opportunity. I mean, I'll do everything I can for A&M. That's why I got my start. A&M, without me even knowing it, was molding me into, being where I am today. So absolutely. I'm in the process now of like just trying to put together some ideas just in regards to going back to my old high school as well as A&M. And like now is a perfect time because we just finished OTAs. So we got, some downtime for a few weeks before we start camp. But to answer your question, absolutely. If they hit me up, I'll reach out to them, but I'll do whatever I can to help.
That's what's up, man. And man, I'm just so grateful that you've had the opportunity to just share your journey with us. Yes. I know it's been a a long road, but you've got so much more in front of you that we can definitely hear this story continue to transpire as we go forward. So stay tuned. You're going to be on this show for a third time. We ain't asking either. We're telling you, you're going to be on here for a third time.
Hey,
I'm all good with it.
Real quick, Coach, Dr. Brian, AD Brian just texted me. He said, we welcome you back. He told me to make sure I tell you that, so AD's all aboard.
Hey, even better. Let me know the time and the day. We can set something up, and we can make it happen. Like I said, I always do what I can to help in regards to, whether it's come back to help work a camp or, consulting or whatever. Definitely let me know.
I'll send you his number after the show.
Go ahead and get that text thread started, T.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So Chris, man, good luck with training camp, which is coming up. We know that's a whole animal. Get you a lot of rest, man, because traveling in that NFL, you about to change more time zones than you ever changed in your life.
Yeah, it's gonna be real, but I'm built for it, so I'm definitely looking forward to it, man. It's gonna be an exciting year for sure.
Yeah, man. Well, salute to you and congrats on the new gig and. Good luck on this upcoming season, my brother, and we'll see you soon. All right.
I appreciate y'all having me.
All right. God bless you, man. Hey, and you might see the icon up there in the top right. Shout out to Rita's one time, and also to Corey, who he had their community event on Juneteenth. Looked like it was a very awesome time. So, hey, man, this was a great show tonight. Man,
it was.
I know some of you probably are just tuning in. I saw CJ just get on. Good to see you, brother. Everybody who might have tuned in for the first time, don't make this your last time. Man, we sound like that was church right there. But yeah, don't make this your last time visiting us. You could have visited anywhere else. You could have watched any other podcast. But we thank you that you watched this one right here.
Right.
And so but one thing that we have coming up, the dynamics that we've got, y'all, we've got season 3 that's going to be kicking off here soon. We just doing a few special episodes here and there. We've got Media Day for SWAC that's coming up July 16th. So there's going to be a lot to talk about there. There's SWAC football previews. There's other things like new volleyball coach. We got a lot of different things that are going on. For myself, I'm going to be doing a versus with shout out to She Loves Thee to Mona Stapleton from Jackson State. We're gonna do a versus sometime after SWAC Media Day. So y'all look out for that. Shout out to my boys from Golden Boot. I was on with them last night talking about A&M. Shout out to those guys, Pooh Bear and Ant, man. Love y'all. Do some great work. Great work. And shout out again here tonight, man. If you missed the show, hey, all you got to do is just go hit play on the YouTube. That's all you got to do on our YouTube channel. And while you're at it, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say,
your volume went out when you played that music, Wayne.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got me now.
Yep.
So what I was saying is, if you missed the show, go back and watch it. Hit the YouTube, and while you're at it, subscribe to this channel. Go ahead, T.
Yeah, I just want to say, man, the three gentlemen we had on the show tonight, all of them played football at A&M at some point in time. All of them graduated at Alabama A&M some point in time. It truly is start here, go anywhere. These gentlemen did not let the circumstances keep them from achieving the goals that they didn't even think that were goals they wanted to achieve, man. So I'm very proud of each of those gentlemen. I didn't get to see Robert and Grady play. I got to A&M in 2003 and their playing career was over with. Do know Chris from A&M. Very proud of him, man. Like I've seen this guy go from a small high school in Beulah, Alabama to the Los Angeles Rams, man. That's an amazing story. And one of the things that he did say to got him, of course, working, but to get to where he is now is networking. Those coaches never would not have remembered his name if he didn't put in a great work ethic and then he didn't network with them. So to everybody, young and old, just remember that, man. Like the credentials, you need them, but they mean nothing if you can't network. So proud of those guys, man. Proud of them, young black men reaching back. They're open to helping out us here at Huntsville, Alabama with the Bulldogs, man. So hopefully those connections are made and we keep the ball rolling.
That's right.
And one thing I do want to point out too, and this is again back to alumni, these men have reached pinnacles that people even dream of, and they still take time to reach out. They still take time to give back to A&M. They still take time to give back to their communities. So just keep that in mind. Like one of the biggest things that we want to do, especially as Bulldogs, is to reach back. Make sure we're not only reaching back to A&M, but to the young people that come up behind us. So if we don't take anything from it, let's take that from this show as well.
Yeah. Dave?
Yeah, I'll just keep it short. I just enjoy the fact that we continue as HBCU alumni to continue to push our own narrative that you can attend an HBCU and get to the next level. These gentlemen are working within the NFL at different levels of the NFL. And we had, I can't remember his name, but we had him on, I think earlier last year. He's the photographer within the NFL also.
Brandon.
Marlon. He was watching. He was in the comments earlier.
Yeah, so him, being there too. So you can definitely attend the HBCU and get to that next level. So I'm just glad that we are continuously pushing that narrative and debunking the narrative that you can't.
Yeah. So you look here over the last 2 weeks, we've had some amazing stories being told. We had Annalise Torian on last week, who's going to be headed to Peru to run in the USATF under 20 championship in world championship in the 100-meter hurdles. And then shout out to Robert Mathis, Grady Brown, and Christopher Aninye on a awesome show tonight. Shout out to my team here, everybody, man. T. Gooden, Jay the Great, Dave, man. Shout out to you, Corey. Corey has some training tonight. Also, shout out to you, DT. Big things coming, y'all. Make sure you subscribe, share this show, man. We got big things on this show. Think about where we started to where we are now, man. We're continuing to grow, and we can't do it without any one of y'all that supports this from week to week. So, on behalf of my esteemed crew that I love so much. We chat every day, it seems like. I'm your man, Wayne Cartwright. I know it's hot out there. I know it's the summertime. Make sure you get a chance to enjoy yourselves. Spend some time with some family. And also have some time for you to reflect, man, because football coming back. Fall sports coming back. And when that stuff come back, man, it's in full effect. The trash talking is going to be in full effect. The bands are going to be drumming. The lights are going to be on bright. It's going to be right. But before we get there, man, take the time and enjoy this journey that's called summer. So God bless y'all. We will see y'all on the next show, whenever it is, but always stay tuned. God bless y'all.
I don't know if this was